Hello everybody. So today we're going to finish up 7.2, which if you remember we now started to solve these systems of linear equations. So as a quick recap, what we're really looking for is where two functions intersect or cross over. Essentially we're looking for the one point that both these lines share. So this is the example we did last week. We have the red function here, negative 2x plus 4, the blue function x plus 1. We found out that they crossed over at 1, 2. So that's our solution, the point 1, 2, or x equals 1, y equals 2. So I just want to jump into another example here to kind of refresh a little bit, I guess. So zoom in a little bit, I think it's good. So what we'll say here is to solve the following system. And the system is x plus y equals 8 and 3x minus 2y equals 14. Alright, and just to make it a little easier, we'll call this equation 1, we'll call this one equation 2. Alright, so these equations are a little trickier. Of course, neither of these are in slope-intercept form, so it might take us a little longer to graph these, but that's okay. You can use any method you want to graph these. I'll use two different ones for these. So what I'll do first for question 1 is I'll find the intercepts. For equation 1. Alright, so if you remember, we get our x-intercepts when y is 0, we get our y-intercepts when x is 0. So I'll do x equals 0 here. Okay, so that means I'll change my x value to 0. We'll leave everything else the same. And of course, that simplifies to just y equals 8. Okay. So we know the point 0, 8 is going to exist for that function. And then for here, we'll find the x-intercept. So this is going to be x plus 0, because we get the x-intercept when y is 0. And of course, we'll get x equals 8 for that one. So then we know the point 8, 0 is going to exist for function number 1. Okay. So that's the first one. For number 2, I'll just convert that into slope-intercept form. So I'll say bring equation 2 into y equals mx plus b form. You could also do intercepts for this function as well, but I'm just doing two different methods to show you guys. Okay, so we want to get y by itself, essentially, is what we're doing when we're converting an equation into slope-intercept form. So I'm just going to copy down my original equation here. And it's time for some algebra. We want to get y by itself, so we got a positive 3x on that side, so I'll get rid of that first. So of course these are going to cancel. And on the left, all we're going to have is a negative 2y. Then on the right, we'll have negative 3x. That's a positive 14. And then I want to just take care of that negative 2. So it's negative 2 times y. So if I'm going to bring it to the other side, I want to divide. So when we do that, the 2's cancel. So of course all we have is y on the left, which is good. That was our goal. Negative 3 divided by negative 2. It's not a whole number, obviously, but a negative divided by a negative, of course, is a positive. So we know it's going to be 3 over 2x. And then we have 14 divided by negative 2. So it's going to be negative 7. Okay. So let's slope-intercept form. So that's going to make it pretty easy for us to graph. So let's go ahead and set up a graph here. And we are going to be looking for where our points cross over. That was the whole point, right? Hopefully I made my graph big enough there. Okay, so we'll do question 1. We'll do that one in red, or equation 1, we'll do that one in red. So we had 8 for both the y and the x-intercept. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's going to be our x-intercept. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. There. Okay, so those are those two intercepts we calculated. So I can come in here, try my best to join these with a line. Nope. Fix that one a little bit there. Okay, so that's our first one. So this is x plus y equals 8. It's that one. And the second equation I'll do in blue. So here we have a negative 7 for the y-intercept, right? That's our b value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the point is there. And it has a slope of 3 over 2. So it's a rise of 3 and a run of 2. So we go up 1, 2, 3, and we run 2, 1, 2. It's that one. So I'll come in here, get my line, do a bad job of trying to get that line. There we go. All right. And now, the whole idea behind this lesson is the solution for both of these is found where the two lines intersect. So of course, they intersect right there. So I might have drawn them off a little bit, but it looks like our answer is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, comma 1, 2. Okay, that's our solution. That's it. So we'll say, therefore, the solution for this system is x equals 6, y equals 2, or we can just say the solution is just 6, 2. Okay. Do I want to do the next question? I think I do. We'll do one more example here. It's a word problem. A plane leaves Regina traveling 1,400 miles to Ottawa at a speed of 400 miles per hour. Another plane is making the reverse trip. At 350 miles per hour. Departing at the same time. So what I'll do here is I know I didn't ask the question yet, but we're going to set up a system here. Okay, so we're going to make two things. We're going to do D, and we're going to do T. So D is going to be distance from Ottawa. And T is time in hours. After departure. Okay, so the first plane, or sorry, the first plane is going to be having a system like this. So the distance from Ottawa at the very start is 1,400 miles, but that distance becomes less as the plane makes its way to Ottawa, right? So we're going to be subtracting 400 times t, because the plane is traveling at 400 kilometers an hour. If we multiply it by the number of hours, it's just going to give us the miles. Okay, and those are the miles we're subtracting from 400 or 1400 as it makes it to Ottawa. Okay, so as t gets bigger, the distance between the first plane and Ottawa is smaller because the plane is traveling towards Ottawa. And the second plane's a lot easier. It's starting in Ottawa, so its distance is just going to be its speed times how many hours it's in the air for. Okay, and the question is, when, I guess I should say, how long after departure do the planes cross one another? And how far away from Ottawa are they when this happens? Okay, so both those functions are in slope-intercept form. So we can just graph it. Okay, because what we're going to be doing is this is going to be the time in hours, and this is going to be distance from Ottawa in miles. Okay, so I'm going to make a rough sketch out of this one. So it's going to be 200, 400, 6, 8,000, 1,200. So I'm going up by hundreds here. 1,400. And we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the second one, let's say we'll do that in blue. The second equation, it has a y-intercept of 0 because it has no b value, and it rises to 350, right? It goes over 1. So 350 is going to be about here, right? So that one's going to look like so. And the red one, this is our b value here. This is b plus mx instead of mx plus b. So that one's going to start at 1400, and its distance is going to go down as it gets closer to Ottawa. So this one has a negative 400. So that means it's going to drop down 400 in 1 hour, which is going to be right there. So it's going to look like this. You might ask, well, how do I know it goes over by 1? Well, remember, both these slopes, another way to write these slopes is this is going to be negative 400 over 1. This one is 350 over 1. Okay, so it's got a rise of that number, a run of that number. Okay, so we go in, see our overlap. See, this one's going to be an approximate value here. So there's our intersect. And this one looks like it's approximately 2, 650 approximately. But remember, the x value is our time, it's hours, and our y value is distance from Ottawa in miles. So the answer to our question is going to be the planes will cross 2 hours after departure at 650 miles outside of Ottawa. Okay, so that's a little real life example you could use for that method. Okay, so that's going to be all for this week, so we can go and finish the homework. So that one was on page 409. I believe I got you to do up to question 6. So now we can do questions 7, 8. You can do 11 or 12. You decide which one to do there. And you can finish with question 17. Okay, so that's all for this week. Make sure you guys message me either in Discord or send me an email if you get stuck. I'll help you out. And yeah, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next week.